I spent my time in one of my previous videos to detail concerning why our ancestors are extremely wise. Yes. No matter how, even me, sometimes, some things I may not understand it, or it may not seem or go well with how I want. But later, often, I've seen it that the choices these people made, there was a reason why they made those choices. In fact, the choices they made weren't because they loved it so much, weren't because they did it out of fun, or they were drunk when they made those decisions. No, those things were years of experience compiled together. You see those things that you hear our ancestors say this, you say that in the olden days we do this, we do that. Those things didn't just, it wasn't a set of ancestors that did this. There were generations of ancestors. So those are the things you want to wipe out. Those are the things you say you want to reject. You are trying to tell me that you are going to spend millions of those years to get to a new fact. And you say you're not ready for that. You know why? Because you cannot be with your white collar job, doing the white man job, to learn a new thing naturally, to get a new experience naturally. No, it can never happen. As long as you're busy with a white collar job, that job that often keeps us from 8 to 4 o'clock, and then you come back tired in the evening, that is when you want to generate or, launch an experiment to find out or come to a conclusion of a new thing scientifically. No, it can't happen. It can't happen while you are with white collar job. And that is why our forefathers compiled these things, compiled them with their years of experience. And then all of a sudden, you woke up. You woke up seeing everything flattering like this. You thought it was easy. And you saw the white man. You want to experience the white man. And then you fling what your ancestors gathered for years. Sham. That is why our lives are like this. You see how you and I, you can even testify. It's why some people in their heart, they have given up. They can't believe that we can ever meet up with the whites, not alone to pass them. That's because of you have normalized your heart that no more. We are okay. Because sincerely in yourself, you have thrown away what made you who you are. And you know within yourself that you can never be better. You can never lead when you have thrown away this. So shameful. Sometimes it's so shameful to me when I see, like, it's painful when I see a set of religion called the Islam killing, massacring the Christians, and then these Christians are dying. Then they have to now call the attention or seeking or begging the attention of the white people who gave them the what? The Christianity. But meanwhile, in your father's day, they defended themselves. In fact, they fought that Britain. They fought Britain. Your fathers fought Britain. Go and check the history of every part of any part you came from Africa. Today, you are calling on them to come and help you. Haven't you seen that you've gone weak? Yes, you've gone weak. Who gave your ancestors the power, the strength, the knowledge they used? Where came the knowledge we used in fighting Biafra war? How we manufactured our own equipment, our own, ammunitions. How did it happen? Today you are even like 200 years backward. You can't even produce what your fathers produced then. That's a big shame. A big shame. That is how you need to know that you are not growing. You are messed up already. If you cannot produce what your fathers produced, then you are gone. You can't do better. The people your fathers challenged, you can't think of even to even beg them. You can't see a space to sit and beg them. Not alone think about challenging them. Because in those days, your ancestors' mates of these same white people, they challenged them, they fought with them. But in our own era, hey, we are praising them. If America released thunder, if America released this, if America released that, America, America, America. That's the story of a weak man. The story of a weak person is always praising another person, believing that he can't do that. He's not saying it with his mouth, but with his mouth uttering things and showering praises on the other person. You will know that he has submitted on that person. But that's a big shame. That was a big reason why our ancestors allowed or practiced what? Polygamy. It wasn't for a joke. It wasn't for a fun. I think in one of my previous videos where I took time to detail these things, I tried to point them out. I'm going to simply point it out again, either as a question or just lay it down. Most of the things problem with us are insincerity. We are very, very insincere, down in our heart, very, very insincere. That is why sometimes when we are talking and mentioning women, it looks as if the person hates women. It's because they practice this insincerity extremely, and always they don't want to give up about these manipulations and insincerity. And don't get me wrong, in all of these videos you see me mentioning about women, I know the people I'm talking about. You see, I don't like that situation whereby I'm talking and I have to come and break down my words to say some women, and there are some. The people I know I'm talking about, they know themselves. And if you're sincere, you know that I don't mean everybody. No, you know that. I don't have to come and detail it and break it down. No, because it's not everybody. It's not. Definitely, it cannot be. There is definitely going to be some people, some women who, and I have seen many of them too. I have seen them. People who, when they exhibit, just like yesterday, I was watching one. When they exhibit some statements, some things that is in them, you say, "Wow, this is the African woman." You you will be in love. You'll be in love. So when you hear talking about women, this, please understand that there's a set of people we are trying to describe. These popular, should I say, things making noise everywhere with negative attitudes. There is a reason why our ancestors practiced polygamy. And I want to ask, mostly, first of all, our female figures, this generation of women, I want to ask you something. Since you think it's out of fun, now let me ask you a simple question. When you come to the population of this world, women are like practically they are like 3 times of men. Yes, they are like 3 times of men, at least, I believe, at least. If you even check around you, count how many men you see before you count how many women you see before you can see a man. Or among every 3 men, you tell me how many women you must have seen already. Now, having known this, practically, you and I know this. Let's use the popular number 7 billion people in the world. And then let's say that Africa is carrying, let's say, 5 billion because the whites are not that much. But let's just say, for example, that Africa is 5 billion in number. And in that 5 billion, I am sure that women will take 3 billion in number, if not more. 3 billion to 4 billion women will take, certainly. They will take 3 to 4 billion. Let's hang it at 4 billion, while men are 2 billion. This is practical. Let's hang it like that. And then, among the men, because of the nature of Africa, the nature of things happening, the struggles, is depreciating the life of men, posing men to more risk and danger than women, which at the end shortens the lifespan of men. By so doing, reducing the number of men we have. Some end up in crime, which leads them to prison. Some in high risk, which shortens their life normally. This also adds to the reduction of this same 2 billion of men. At the end of the day, we might be having 1.5 billion men, while we will have 4 billion women, at least, or at least double of it. Now I ask you, if 4 billion women comes to marry 1.5 billion men, do you think they're going to have enough men to match with this number? No. 1.5 billion men goes for 1.5 billion women, as you wish. How many women will be left out? We will still have about, is it 3 billion? Oh no, so we'll still have about 2.5 billion women unmarried. 2.5 billion women unmarried. Let's assume about 5 billion. Let's assume about 0.5 billion somehow are not in the field, are not in the count. And we are having 2.5 billion. Who do you want them to marry these 2 billion women that's left out? Who do you want? Let's assume the other 1.5 billion have matched up to the 1.5 billion men. The remaining 2 billion women, who is going to marry them? And let's assume that you are not among those people who married the 1.5 billion men. How will you feel? Okay, let's put that aside. Do you think that nature does not know how he made things in a way that he produces women more than men? Can't you see where it's already coming from? It's already coming from nature, producing more women than men. So do you think that nature produces more women just to dump them? I need us to be very sincere. Since you think it was out of fun that our ancestors practiced polygamy, so nature produced women more just to dump them. And then let me also come to the point. It is you as a woman who gives this birth. Why don't you choose to give birth to more men than women? So that it can rhyme as you want. You couldn't do it, right? And you can't do it. Then there is a reason why nature has programmed it like that. Our ancestors didn't do it out of fun. Otherwise, I'm sure you will choose to be among those who couldn't marry. Just like many cry today. Because they say that the men are shorting. In fact, not just that men are shorting in this generation, the attitude of women has become so irritating that men have chosen peace. To stay alone more than to entertain drama, entertain foolishness, entertain things that will steal away your joy. That one is even a separate department that shortens or makes more men not married to women. Yet there are extra number of women already existing. Huh? Can you solve this arithmetic? Can you just solve it? Only this one alone. Before we now enter to another section. Can you be happy to be among that 2 billion women who are left behind without marrying, without having children of their own? Will you be happy to be among them? Since you think that our ancestors practiced polygamy for fun, enjoyment, to suffer women, you know, the language is always suffer them. They are killing women. They're killing you every day, but you keep getting fat every day. Whenever you're with your gang, you're always happy. You praise, and when you go inside your home, just to appreciate that man who made you that happy that you're sad, you change again to make him feel that you are dying. Manipulation. Okay, let's put that aside. Let's go to other reasons why I tell you that our ancestors were wise. Me and you and I and you, I don't know how else I will put it, knows and understands, both in men and women, every one of us, especially in Africa, we know this fact that women, we know this fact that men aren't supposed to eat a food from a woman under menstruation. Men aren't supposed to do that. We know also that there are spiritual implications, spiritual effects of these things, right? And then when you are under your menstruation as a married woman, and then your husband wants to eat, he does what? As somebody who is at work, he should come back home to do what? To go and start preparing food while hungry from work, right? When there is another woman who can do that and save him, save his job, save him from misfortune that brings food to you, you rather prefer to expose him to that danger. He will have the misfortune, then you will complain that he's not giving you enough money, he's not bringing, things are not moving well, things are going that piam. You now look for another man again. Who caused it? Do you see how it is happening? The misfortune is coming from him eating a food prepared by you because you are under menstruation, which would have been averted if there was another woman who were there to prepare that food. And because you want to feel that he should come back hungry and enter the kitchen to start preparing food when there is simply another woman who can do that. How do you feel when you return home hungry and enter the kitchen? Or you should go as a married person, after suffering, you will now go along the road to buy food and eat. You should keep buying food to eat for those number of days that you're under your menstruation, which lasts maybe 4 days, and some people's own may not even run dry till 7 days. You should keep eating outside. Are you not seeing your senses? Are you checking it? Are you checking it? A man who came to marry you should go and be doing what? Eating outside. Okay, let's put that aside again. Just another section again of why I tell you that our ancestors are wise. They didn't do anything out of fun. They did it after compilation of different experiences, and they brought out a solution. Since you know there is a danger, it is misfortune that it causes if a man sleeps with you under menstruation, and then you are under your menstruation, and your husband is feeling for sex, then what do you want him to do? To wait for that 4 days that you're under your menstruation, right? When there are 2 billion women who didn't have the opportunity, if it is shared equal, they can be simply brought into the home and they will take care of this niche, and everybody, including your fellow women, will be happy. Everybody will be okay. Everybody will be all right. But no, because you think that you got the opportunity to be among these 1.5 billion that match to 1.5 billion men, then it's okay. The rest of the women, your fellow women, should be left out, should be abandoned, should be thrown out. Otherwise, what solution do you want for them? I want you to say it. The solution you have for these other women. I am very much interested to know the solution you have for these other outnumbered women who are not married like you. What under of the same age? What is the solution you have for them to be married in this life? Or you will tell me marriage is not for everybody. Why is it not just you that the marriage is not meant for? Huh? If you're not able to solve this equation, that shows that you're insincere in your desire. Your desire is born out of insincere, out of selfishness, self-centeredness, my own, just my own. I don't care about others. So your husband should wait for you for 4 days. Or probably, if yours maybe extends more days, maybe up to 7 days, your husband should not have sex. He'll wait for you. And every month, he has to do that again. Because he loves you. And there are 2 billion women out there. Or rather, he will choose to do what? Expose him to the risk. And then he'll sleep with you. And then take the misfortunes. Take whatever, negative spirit that will join with it there. He will now accommodate it. And then tomorrow things begin to happen to him. Happen to him, happen to him. All caused by your selfishness. And many women will prefer that this man gets this misfortune than to get another woman who will satisfy him in that period. And otherwise, This same man, you are now expecting him to go look for what? Ashawo. And those Ashawo is still the same billions of women who were left out. It just goes around. The same people who were left out, who were counted as left out, most of them turn around to become this Ashawo we call. So you see, you are either exposing him to the risk of maybe diseases, or you are practically going to give it to him, the disease itself, the misfortune itself, because you don't want him to take another woman. And you think our ancestors weren't wise. You think our ancestors went for other women for fun's sake. How many have I listed to you? Okay. Let me know one of them that is out of fun. Let me know one out of all of this that was created, that was practiced by our ancestors out of fun, out of the two love woman, out of the want to suffer women. That is why they are practicing this. Even during pregnancy. During pregnancy, you know very well how sex feels for a man, but you want him to be patient. But remember that aside all of this, you will never want to accept or be patient for a man who cannot take care of you. But in all of this, you are expecting patience from a man who should be enjoying after he has been able to get something. And who, without him getting those things that you want, you would have also rejected him. You would have pushed him, kicked him far. But now you are expecting patience. Patience to stay 4 days to 7 days, waiting for you to run out of menstruation before he can sleep with you, before he can eat food cooked by his wife. And otherwise, he has to take the consequence. He has to eat this misfortune with his mouth. He has to embrace it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't work. I'm sure it is same you people that will start preaching it doesn't work. But same you people know that it is working. It is nature. You are not meant to sleep with a woman during her menstruation. You are not meant to eat a food cooked by a woman menstruating. These are dangers. Forget about the things we now try to do to cleanse ourselves, to avert these dangers. Not everybody who maybe applies this thing or even know it. And some people, before they even apply these things, they are gone already. These are extreme dangers that men are exposed to naturally. And then you, as a woman who he has married, is not thinking about how to reduce this danger because of your selfishness and self-centeredness. And aside of all of these reasons, please, can you just tell me why, or what is the option or solution you have for your fellow 2 billion ladies at least who will be married after you fall into the 1.5 billion that matched with the 1.5 billion men available? The remaining left out, the remaining 2 billion, how do you expect them, how do you want them to cope in life without a child, without being married, without sex? Huh? The day you're able to provide the reason, and I know that you have become sincere, you have become sincere, and have given a perfect solution. That was when I will now know that our ancestors did this thing to suppress women, to punish women, to enjoy themselves, to have fun. That is why they practice polygamy. Provide the solution first.